Perfect, okay, so you're in the right place. Very good. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we have this presentation for you, a few slides with some very useful and practical, important information. Feel free to take notes. Feel free to take some pictures with your smartphones of the screen, so you will keep it with you, and then you say, how was that? Was 10 o'clock or was 10:15? So if you take a photo, if there is something that really you think you should remember, it's important, feel free to do that. We have here today, of course, our guest services team. By the way, how about a round of applause for the incredibly hardworking and friendly guest services team, trying to navigate all the bureaucracy and immigration and custom and everything else. So thank you to them for putting these together. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to begin now with this presentation. At the end of it, if you have any question, some of the team will stay behind, and then you can address this question specifically. Chiara, our guest admin from Italy, so we have the representation of the Italians here today. See? Look at that, beautiful. Okay, of course they know you. All right, let's start with the first slide. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, travel documents, this is what we will be talking about. This is the agenda for today. We'll go over travel documents, obviously consecutive cruisers, the process, what to expect when we arrive in Singapore, independent journeys, Wi-Fi on a turnaround day in Singapore, guest credit card, and a safety briefing as well. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at the travel documents that you're gonna need the morning of Singapore. Now, everybody will need to complete the SGAC, Singapore Online Arrival Card. This is mandatory for all guests here on board the Serenade. The information that you will have to enter in this online submission will have to match your passport, okay? If what you put in this form does not match the information that shows in your passport, you will be required to resubmit the, once again, this online form. Dates must be filled out in this format. Day, month, and a 4-digit year, okay? This might be different to what you're used to, depending where you are from, but remember, 2 digits for the day, then 2 digits for the month, and then 4 for the year. If you do not do it this way, then it's going to reject your submission. Arrival date, it will ask you to fill out that, and obviously you know we will be in Singapore on the 24th of April. Now, a letter with how to submit your arrival card has already been sent to your stateroom. Have you all received it? Okay, yes. Okay. Most of you, it's a yes. There is a couple of no's. Maybe you need to check under the pillow or somewhere. It should be there. If it's not, of course, you can ask your stateroom attendant. I'm sure he or she will be able to provide one for you. This these online submissions will have to be completed on April 22nd or at the latest on the 23rd, which we're talking about hours before arriving in Singapore. So basically you cannot do that yet, but in those 2 days prior to our arrival in Singapore, that's when you can do that. The letter that majority of you has received will have all the instructions how to submit your application online, and it's in online submissions, as I mentioned to you, so you can do that from the comfort of your smart devices or laptops as well. Okay? Next. Passport distribution, okay. Again, all this information that we're covering this morning, it is also mentioned in this famous letter that I mentioned to you a moment ago. Passport distribution, you all need your passport. This will be taking place the day before we actually arrive in Singapore, and that's April 23rd in the dining room on deck number 5. You all need your passport in order for you to go ashore in Singapore, okay? So if you're planning an excursion, if you just want to go for a walk or whatever the case might be, you need your physical passport with you. And remember, it's always a good idea, take a photocopy of your passport if you have one, take a picture of your passport from your phone. You never know if you and when you might need that as well. Sorry? What time? It's in the letter. So everything, time, and the location is this one, but the time it's specifically in the 1, 2, 3. Easy. No, sorry. From 1 to 3. From 1 to 3. Okay. Thank you, Dolly. Thank you, Chiara. All right. Let's talk about visas. Yes. All right. So now, Sri Lanka. Mandatory visas for all guests. Now, this is a reminder that all guests must have their Sri Lanka. Also, if you're not planning to go ashore in Sri Lanka, okay? So this is a requirement from the Sri Lanka government. Everybody cruising on board the Serenade, they must have a visa, even if you're not planning to go ashore. India. Now, Indian visa is required if you wish to go ashore. Now, obviously, if you say, no, I'm not getting off in Mumbai, in Goa, or in Cochin, then it's okay. You do not need a visa. I don't think that's the case, because I'm sure many of you will want to go out and explore all the sites that these three beautiful ports have to offer. So all guests wishing to go ashore need to apply for their Indian visa. How about UAE visa? Now, this is a visa on arrival for most nationalities. Restricted nationalities must apply for visa. Now, how do you know if you're restricted nationalities or not? Everything, it's in the letter. No, it's not in the letter. I thought the letter was the solution to everything. No. Most of the answers that you had, most of the questions, the answer would be in the letter, but this is not. Very good. So, restricted nationalities must apply for a visa. UAE, it's on arrival, and we will do that. Remember, once your visas have been granted, you need to email them to the email address that you see on the screen right now. sr_documents@rccl.com, okay? And this is what you need to put in the subject line: your room number, your name, and the country of the visa that you have applied for with your visa, so they can keep track and they can have it on record here on board. Anything else we need to add for this one, Chiara? No? Okay. So, considering cruiser's process, what to do and what to expect the morning of arrival in Singapore. Going ashore in Singapore? Okay, very good. Then you need your passport if you're going ashore in Singapore. If you go out and you want to come back on board, no shore leave once you're back on board. Basically, if you go out in Singapore and then you want to come back on board, you can, of course, come back on board. However, the moment you go out and you come back on board the Serenade, you cannot go back out again. Okay, so plan your day accordingly. Obviously, this is not something that we want to do, but this comes directly from the authorities in Singapore. All on board time, Singapore, 2:30 p.m. So it's a little bit of a short day. So make sure if you want to go out, you do that as early as you can to maximize your time in port in Singapore. Okay. If you don't want to go out in Singapore, if you're planning to stay on board, of course, you're more than welcome to do so. Then you can meet the team here in the theater on deck number 5 at 9:30 in the morning. Before 9:30, if you're out and about, you can wait in any public area, and then 9:30, the doors will open and you can come here on deck number 5, and that's where we will process you for the back-to-back process, okay? You need to bring your old CPAS card, the new CPAS card as well, and your passport with you, which, as we covered before, you will have collected already the day before. You're not going to be required to go ashore if that's what you wish. If you wish to remain on board, then we will process you on the ship, we'll do everything for you, and then you can stay here and you continue for the rest of your day enjoying the ship. If you're going ashore, then please refer to the previous slide for that. Okay. Independent journeys. Now, some guests might have made their own travel arrangements, and maybe you're planning to leave us for a few days or maybe for a week, to leave us in Singapore and then maybe join us a few days later, whatever the case might be. I know that many of you have made your own arrangements when it comes to independent journeys. Remember that these requires an approval and a verification, as well as some countries they enforce specific laws, so make sure that you let us know in advance. Okay, you may require visa to disembark, you may require a visa to enter the other country where you're planning to join us again, so make sure that you let us know in advance and notify guest services at least 2 weeks before your independent journey is supposed to start. Okay, it's very important. We'll try and assist you as much as we can with the information that you need. But if you're planning an independent journey, please let us know as early as you can so we can try and help you as much as possible. Okay, weather in the coming ports. Yes, the poor penguin is melting. Now, I'm sure you have all realized that since we left Tianjin, the temperature has changed drastically, right? We were wearing like sweaters and warm clothes when we were there, and in South Korea as well. It is getting much warmer. Humidity, it's a big factor to take into consideration from tomorrow, well already now, but obviously now the solution is you come inside, you have the air conditioning. That's not always the case when you are ashore. So it is going to be very hot, okay? Very humid as well. Starting tomorrow is not going to change. It's going to be the same pretty much all the way through Dubai and until we cross the equator. The moment we do that, if you're staying with us until then of course the seasons will change, and when we arrive in southern Africa, it will actually be fall, probably winter already, so the temperatures will cool down. But until then, forget about it. It's going to be hot, okay? It's preparing you as well for the hot summer months in Europe. That's also if you're staying with us until then. So this means, please, before you leave the ship, make sure you have water with you. You're wearing a hat, sunscreen, and all these beautiful things that will protect you from heat and humidity. Okay, but it's gonna be great. Yes, it's gonna be very warm, but that's why we're warning you. Starting tomorrow and moving forward, this is how the temperatures will be like. Okay, very important. Well, we know this one. We cannot stress this enough. Of course, please make sure you look after yourself, your safety, your health, and the overall health of the ship as well. So, as always, the best way to prevent colds and flu is by washing your hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 songs. Did I say 20 songs? 20 seconds, because I was already, my mind was too fast. They say that these 20 seconds, they equal pretty much the length of a happy birthday song. So you can, when you wash your hands, you can sing happy birthday. People are gonna think you're crazy, but it's okay. You know why you're doing that, but then they say that's the best way. When you're out and about in these ports of calls, they're beautiful. There is a lot of opportunities out there to enjoy yourself. However, street food, if you're planning to try the local delicacy and you're not doing that in a restaurant, and you want to try the street food, please be careful. Of course, we never know, and you never know how and what you're about to experience, and we don't want anyone to come back on board and then start feeling some symptoms. So by all means, do what you prefer and try the food. However, keep that in mind. Make sure that you are wise when it comes to choosing your food options ashore. Okay? Very good. All right, now on turnaround day, that's Singapore. I'm sure this is nothing new. You've experienced this before. Internet will be down for anything between an hour and an hour and a half. This is something that happens every turnaround day on every ship in the fleet, basically until we actually roll in the system the next voyage. Internet doesn't work. So this is something for you to keep in mind as well, and you will need to create once again a new account once the new voyage starts and it's rolled out in our system. Okay, all good? Perfect. Credit cards, as usual, nothing new. Royal Caribbean app, that's where you can link your credit card. It's the best way, it's the easiest way, and the fastest as well to settle your bill at the end of your cruise. You do that at the beginning, you register your credit card in the app, and you can forget about it. You don't have to do anything until the end of the cruise. Get safety briefing. Okay, So this is something that we do on board every turnaround port. The next one will be, of course, in Singapore. Now for the Ultimate World Cruisers, you only need to complete this once per segment, which means that the Ultimate World Cruisers will only have to do the safety briefing again in Dubai, okay, which is the start of the following segment. For guests who will be joining us in Singapore, they'll have to do it, and if you have booked different segments of the world cruise separately, then you are required to attend as well the safety briefing in Singapore. It's very easy. You do it through the app these days, and you just show up at your assigned muster station. They check you in, they give you a life jacket demonstration, a couple of minutes, and then you go. So this is it's very good. Assure emergency contacts. Yes. Now make sure that you always have a good understanding of these, and you always have this very important piece of information with you. Now this is in the cruise compass, which is obviously, as you know, also digital. If you scan that QR code on page number 3, the bottom right corner, that's where you normally find. Is it right? That's where you always find the information about the port agents, emergency contacts. If anything was to happen to you, or if for whatever reason you need to get in touch with us, and you are in Vietnam, in Sri Lanka, in India, in Singapore, wherever you are, those contacts are very important. So please get in touch and let us know where you are, and if you need to communicate something urgent to the ship. Okay, so make sure you have that information with you. Royal Caribbean Group Guest Emergency Travel. This is the number that you can call. Maybe you can take a photo if you need to, but it's important. If you are on a short excursion with us, then of course we know at all times where you are, because we're constantly in touch with them. But if you're doing something on your own, then please reach out if you need to, so we know where you are. For more security information, tune in to channel 7, which is the generic safety channel here on board. That's it. Thank you. All right. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you have any questions, if something is not 100% clear, if you have any doubt, the team will stay here behind for a little bit, so feel free to ask any clarification if that's the case, and if not, thank you for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day here on board the Saturday. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.